One of the questions that you asked was about if Jeffrey had any idea how much all of you would be transformed, and then also how many of you would be working in some kind of China-related field. And I was thinking about that, and I just remembered that he felt that you guys were the group, you were most ready to take the adventure and change it into a life endeavor. Well, to me, I think you guys were more risk takers, and so were drawn, to maybe the adventure or something. And because you were more risk takers, then of course you would see opportunity from your experience and run with it. I mean, that would be my read. I don't know. Why do you think?
里，紧握扶手，注意脚下安全。Please watch your luggages. Hold the handrail.
And one of the reasons that Jeffrey chose Guilin is that it was kind of on the frontier and far away from Beijing, because he thought it would be, we'd have less surveillance, and locally the people would give us more leeway, because, when we went, there were so many places that were off limits, and it was kind of just arbitrary, but also maybe there were some reasons, because of course there was the war between China and Vietnam down on the border. So that might have given the Chinese reasons to want to limit our ability to travel. The advantage in taking undergraduate students is the Chinese wouldn't think that you were spies. Whereas if you were graduate students, they might think you have ties to, CIA or think tanks that might tempt you to spy on them.
So they let a bunch of dummies come in.
Yeah. And we were all appropriately dumb, so that we weren't threatening.
No, we weren't.
In China, they were just starting in the education department to target different universities as key colleges. And during our negotiation time, either because of or just by a wonderful happenstance, Guangxi Teachers was one of the key colleges. And that then meant they would open up to foreign students, and in doing so, they would get extra money from the national government.
So you are saying they'd open it up for 2 foreign students, like 2 Americans, to come study at Guangxi Teachers College?
Well, they would open up for students too. There wasn't any finite number.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So you're
At that time, remember, you had a ration card for meat and for oil. They would be given permission to open up, and then in opening up, they were given extra money, like extra ration cards and things to be able to support us. At that time, remember, you had a ration card for meat and for oil, and for the college to have enough food for us, they had to get those extra ration cards. We were the first group of undergraduate students to do it south of the Yangtze. There was another college, Guilin College, and it's someplace in the Midwest, and they, at the very same time, took fewer students for only it was only like a 3-week or a 4-week study trip to a college in Nanjing.
I see.
We were the only resident college for, and our trip was longer than any student trip had. So
Yes, that's what I've been told
I think
for 40 years. So I'm glad to know that we were the best.
We are cool. We did it.
Yeah, we did it longer, more intensely, and it was a resident program, whereas the Goshen wasn't really a resident program. They studied for 3 or 4 weeks, and then they went home.
Lame.
Yeah. But I have read in magazines, I have read the claim from Goshen that they were the first student group. And I always, think, we need to correct that.
We do. We do need to correct it.
This went along with their program of naming colleges a key college, because being a key college meant that you could get extra foreign exchange and you could work with foreigners. Not every college became a key college. And at one time, Guilin, where we were, was the only college that had that designation. Later on, Nanning got upset that, they were the capital and they didn't have a key college, and then they got a key college. And Jeffrey thinking, the fact that it's a frontier, it's on the frontier, Beijing won't be worried that, you'll get in trouble at something. So it was to our advantage to use Guangxi.
Okay.
Well, what was strange is I had found some notes, but I wasn't really looking at pictures, and this big envelope fell out of the bookshelf, and I thought, what the heck is this? And I opened it, and it was pictures of our time in China.
I realized how gutsy you guys were to take this naive group of 27 kids. I mean, it's gutsy for me even to take my own kids places. So, how worried were you guys? And, I'm sure you had a lot of fears, but really what was going on when you were taking us and we landed in Guilin?
Jeffrey was a constant nervous wreck. because Jeffrey would like to worry about things to anticipate problems. And so, he did worry a lot. And then professionally, I mean, he was taking a risk professionally as well.
For sure.
And for me, I just, I had worked out with the consulate a couple of escape routes for us. And so I was constantly trying to make sure I had both the contacts and the money set aside that we could get out if I had to buy our way out.
Man.
Well, we had to because there was there weren't cell phones. There wasn't even a fax machine, if you recall.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was, we were like on the dark side of the moon as far as communication. And I don't know if any of you ever called home, but, it was that feedback and the echo, and you had to make an appointment, and it's quite a hassle.
I think I did call home, and wasn't that with the school, and I don't remember how we paid, but it was a big deal.
Yeah, you had to go down to the office.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize.
And of course,
I got a good story about that when you're ready.
tell the story.
Well, so I lived in Nanning. I lived with, it was me. I lived in a kind of a duplex with me and another visiting Chinese a teacher who was from Suzhou, who was an older guy, Chinese, guy, and he was, I don't know what he was teaching, something technical or something that they, he's an expert from another part of the country that was living there. So we shared this building, and we had this lady, this kind of peasant, older lady who would, clean our grounds and stuff. And she was, the Chinese are such gossips, but Leslie came down for.
And we don't at all.
What's that?
I said, and we don't at all.
We don't. Yeah.
Well, they, what happened? Leslie came to visit me for Christmas, I think. This, and came down from Guilin, and I told the guy, my the Chinese guy that I live with, that we were going to there was a church that had invited me and Leslie to. They were having like a Christian church in Nanning somewhere, that I met this high school girl. She was like high school, and she invited us to her Christmas party, and like a church or something. So anyway, I don't remember. I don't remember who I told that to, but somebody about that we were going to this church, and we went, and then Leslie wanted to call home, right? And so we went to the office on my campus to make a call, and she called her parents, and she got real emotional. She started crying and everything, and then we left, and we went to the party at the church or something. Anyway, we came back, and the next day, that my Chinese the guy who lived next to me, he goes, he says, "Lu Jing, I heard you got married, and congratulations," or something. And I go, what are you talking about? And then there's this, the lady who swept our grounds and I think she may have done our laundry or something. Or he goes, yeah. Well, she says that you were you guys went to the church and that Leslie was crying and and she had like heard this. I don't know. She had like heard it from the guy at the office of the telephone or something, and they just invented this whole story, about Leslie and I had gotten married, gone down to the church and got.
That's funny.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Betty, were you going to ask a question?
Yeah, just going back to the, the escape routes. What do you think maybe you were thinking might have happened that we would have to escape? Like, what would we have had to escape from?
Well, like if any one of us, Jeffrey included, made some kind of terrible political gaffe, and if they were going to, like say, take Jeffrey, then, the plan was that I would take you guys and we would leave him and come home.
Ouch.
Oh my.
And I mean, that was one. And then when the war was on, it was, if they were going to start rationing food and things, because we are foreign, we might not be treated as the special guests, and so we would have to get out. And that escape plan was a scenario that had been given to me by the consul
Wow.
in Guangzhou.
Did you?
And so they had explained that I would get you guys to Guangzhou, and then the consul would get us out.
Did you think you were going to have to enact that after Andrew took that picture of Mal with the lips?
That's funny that you bring that up. I thought more that they would stop the language classes. I was worried that the classes that you guys had would be stopped.
Oh, shoot.
Because they couldn't trust us, but yeah.
You mean the ones we were teaching?
No, the ones to learn Chinese, right?
Right.
They didn't want us to learn any more Chinese.
Oh.
So did you ever feel like there was a time that it came close to having to do an escape route?
When Jeffrey was caught counting trains, I thought that we might.
Oh, wow.
And he was innocently, I don't think he was sending information out like, 10 tanks and 40 troops like that. But I think he was just writing about it because he was interested in how they were moving the troops and if it matched what the Hong Kong newspapers were saying. But Liao saw him, and it's against the law to take pictures of any military things in China, and so they made him go to the office, and he had to apologize. And at that point, when he went to the office, I was thinking, okay, now I'll have to message the consul general and find out how I could get you guys out.
Hmm.
Wow.
Was he taking pictures?
Not you guys, us. I would be attached to you like a clam.
No kidding.
Was he taking pictures of the trains?
He did take a picture, and that was not okay.
So he wasn't on campus when he was doing that. He rode his bike
He was
someplace.
downtown at where there was a downtown. There was a kind of a spontaneous market. Golly, it wasn't in the heart of downtown. It was more towards the countryside. I'm trying to think the direction. It probably would have been southeast. And there was a major place where the train, there was a train crossing and maybe 2 or 3 lines there. I don't know if there was a travel agency near there too. The bus stop was over in that direction, the bus station. So anyway, that was where he was, and he took the picture and then was called down to the office.
Yep.
Who saw him take the picture?
Who took the picture?
Who saw him take the picture?
Some person, and then he, when he came home for lunch, this man appeared at our door and said he had to go see Liao. And that's how.
Yeah.
That's because you can't get away with anything when you're a foreigner in China in those days.
Mm-hmm.
But then,
Well, you know, our house, our apartment was bugged.
I remember.
Well, I think I remember Jeff saying that, and of course I thought, oh, it can't be.
Oh, there was a wire, that just this random wire that ran across the ceiling and hit the wall out the window. And so one day Jeff said, you know, I'm going to just follow that darn thing. And he followed it, and he followed it out into the hallway, and then followed it down the stairs, and there was an apartment right under us. And so Jeffrey just opened the door, and sitting there was this guy with earphones, and there was a whole wall of, you know, those tape machines that were the reel to
reel. Yeah.
There was a wall of maybe 3 or 4 of those machines running in front of him, sitting in front of him.
That's weird.
And then Jeffrey tested it. He would say, like one time he said to Louis, he said, Louis, don't you wish that you had a hamburger and French fries for dinner? Wouldn't that just be wonderful? And that evening, the cook came to our house, and on the tray he had this mound of meat that was supposed to be a hamburger, and then these, you know, stir-fried potatoes.
Oh my.
The other way we found out that we were being monitored is, and actually I found out that Huang Yansha was assigned to read all of my letters. And I got a letter from my mother and my sister on the same day. And Huang Yansha said, oh, Christine, congratulations. And I said, what for? And then she stopped and, you know, changed the subject, everything. I opened the letter. My sister had a baby.
Yeah.
Had announced it in the letter, and she had let it slip. And so then I confronted her. I said, Huang Yansha, I thought you were my friend. You know, how could you do that and not tell me? And she said, well, how could you put anything in your letters that I would have to report?
A baby?
Well,
or anything. You know, yeah.
Or anything, complaining about anything. Yeah.
Oh my God.
But wait a minute. She had read your letter and
coming from the U.S.
My mother's letter telling me about the baby. Yeah.
And they would. It wasn't was it obvious that they had been tampered with? Were they? Oh, you know, could you tell it?
No, it really wasn't. But then when I started seeing, I could see that it had been pried open. I could see a spot where there was like a mark. But until he let it slip, it had never occurred to me. I didn't realize that she was doing that. But I should have known. I mean, they would want to know what we were saying. So then Jeff and I would use that. Like I would write in a letter, oh, we're really liking it, but we do wish that, the canteen was cleaned more often because we're used to a different kind of hygiene. And then the next day we would find that the Chinese had gone in and done the cleaning. So, we tried to use it to our advantage.
Well, do you think they probably realized that you knew that, because, I mean.
I think it was a game or a dance of some sort. I mean, you guys know. I mean, you guys have lived in China. You know how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember ever being bugged, but do you think the students were ever bugged, or a meeting room in our dormitory or anything?
I would imagine the meeting room was monitored. I don't think that, I just can't imagine that they would bug your rooms, although they might have. I mean, the political pressure is hard to resist if you're living there.
Yeah.
I know.
Well,
that
I don't imagine they were bugged. Go ahead, Stacy.
Oh, I was just saying, I know they read the mail. Betty's nodding.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they were more obvious. Like I know, like Lori's mail got stuffed by the US side, and you could hardly tell. But when the Chinese, opened our mail, you could kind of see that it had been opened.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And maybe it was, opening it in a rough manner was a way to let us know, hey, we're monitoring your mail.
Yeah.
Well, I remember Jeffrey telling us that everywhere we went, we were being watched. So we were supposed to behave.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I now that I'm retired, I think of all those, I call them little old ladies, but, all of these wonderful ladies sitting around counting who's going in, who's going out, monitoring the neighborhood. And maybe if we gave our elderly people some kind of duty like that, they'd be feeling like they were contributing to the society.
Right.
True.
Well, do you think we should, do we have more questions for the moment? Do you want to keep talking, or should we digest everything and then get back with Christine? What do you guys think?
I have one more, just about something she said.
Okay.
Try to make it. You mentioned in one of the escape routes was a boat going out to Hong Kong through from Liuzhou, you said, or?
Yes.
Yes. And my dad had to go back first, and then my mom and my brother went to Changsha. I think they might have gone to Xi'an, or maybe they were gonna, but they didn't get there, or whatever. But somehow, my brother stayed longer or something, and he ended up leaving China going down some river on a boat, and he was the only, foreigner, and he was down in some like the bowels of some ship with a bunch of Chinese farmers and stuff, and going down this, and they were they were just so excited have this guy with them. And I just wondered how that happened, how he got on this thing. And he said, because he knew how to say, well, Didi Shui, I mean, his of course his tones and accent were all wrong, but 我对你说一番小愿 and 我不吃肉. Those are the two things he knew how to say. I don't eat meat, and my brother studies at the, and they were all, they just loved him, and they were, it took this odd boat trip, and I never figured out where it was, or what.
Well, maybe he wandered into the boat out of Liuzhou because it was a regular.
But Liuzhou's on the canal, on the ocean side, because you take a ferry from Hong Kong to Liuzhou nowadays. So it's not on a river.
Wow.
Wait a minute, Liuzhou is up in north of Guilin, right? Or
I'm not thinking that. Maybe it's a different. I know Zhuhai, and I thought Liuzhou was near Zhuhai on the ocean side, but maybe there's a different one.
There might be a different one because that's a common name.
Yeah.
But this one is it's actually southeast of Guilin on the Li River, and then flows into the Pearl River. So the boat would have been taking the Pearl River down to Zhuhai.
I bet that's what he did.
Yeah, that sounds like it might be what he did. But there was also a regular boat out of Changsha, but I don't remember the name of the river. It's another tributary river. And it would come out north of Guangzhou, like in the Shenzhen area. But on the ocean side, obviously not.
Right. Bringing up lots of memories.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Go ahead.
You were saying something?
Oh, I just was saying that I've really enjoyed listening to all the stories and appreciate so much that you're taking the time to talk with us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, likewise. I mean, it's fun to revisit this because in not thinking about it, you lose some of the memories, and then you go, "Oh my gosh, yes, I remember that."
Yeah, I'm really impressed with how much detail you have and how good your memory is. Because I found so far. Have you read all the stuff that's been written in the doc?
No, I haven't. Lewis was saying that you guys had written quite a bit.
Yeah, fair amount, but it's what's interesting is like everybody's, I don't know, I kind of like pulling out. Everybody's got a different. I'm kind of I'm learning things about the people that have written so far that I didn't know, for one, and then they're also like mentioning things that I had forgotten about or whatever. It's kind of cool that everybody's sort of bringing different pieces. Yeah.
Yes, that is neat, and I hope that you guys can also bring the different pieces of what you've done with your experience, because a lot of you have kept working or living in a multicultural, bilingual world. But it's been in different ways. And I think seeing not just your experience as a group, but then seeing what each individual had done with it, to me is fascinating.
It's pretty fascinating because if you look at the statistics, it's pretty overwhelming how it's impacted really all of our lives in one way or another.
Mm-hmm. And so many of you, your life work is connected to what you were working on or doing tangentially on the trip.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's chapter 6 or 7. You know, that's listed as one of the.
It's on the list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is gonna.
Well, it was nice chatting with you guys. I've got to take my dog out. He's insisting that he go out. And I look forward to our next talk, and maybe next time I can successfully get on Zoom.
So maybe you and I will have a Zoom test and see if we can make it work. But this was a good solution. At least we got to have our meeting with you, and we appreciate it.
Yeah, it was great.
Thank you, Christine.
It's good to hear all of your voices.
Thank you so much. I'm going to hang up on you, Christine, and take care of your dog, and we'll be in touch. All right. Well, I'm glad we figured that out.
Yeah.
That worked out good.
She was so frustrated. I thought we'll just waste another 15 minutes, and she still might not be able to get on. I don't know what was going on with her computer, but you guys could hear her.
Yeah.
Great.
That was, perfect. We just moved on and didn't kibosh the whole thing.
Yeah, I didn't want to kibosh it because it would have been nice to see her, but that's okay.
Yeah.
We have it. So now we have a transcript that's been recorded. And I don't know what Dan's going to do with that. If you save it onto your computer, or
I don't know.
what's the next step?
I have no idea. I've never dealt with. You got it on yours, right?
My computer went out on me, so you were the recorder, and you're still recording.
Yes, I'm still.
Yeah, so that's good news. It's good that we did too. And if you can't figure it out, I can ask the gal in our office how she does it, because she records classes all the time and puts them on the website or something. So I don't know what kind of file it is.
Yeah. Well, when I stop, it'll probably say save or something like that, I guess.
Yeah.
And then I'll kind of watch where it goes, because
Yeah,
Because it would be tricky to try to piece it together by just memory.
Oh yeah.
Oh, what we just talked about? Oh yeah, no, that
Yeah.
was no. It's definitely got to be.
She's amazing. Gosh,
Really.
Yeah.
all the memories.
And some of the backstories is like, wow.
Yeah.
I can't imagine the escape routes.
I know. I'm still kind of like, what? And that they had money stashed
So one of them was the boat. What was the other one? I was writing notes down.
going through Thailand.
Yeah, which was not optimal.
Going through Thailand?
I mean, how would we get to Thailand? That's a kind of, you have to go through some other things first, right?
You have to go beyond Kunming. Don't you have to go up more north? You have to go over
Through the war of Vietnam.
Oh, that's Vietnam. I mean, I have to take a look at our map and see what route would that be.
Yeah, you'd have to go over to Kunming and then down through Laos or
Myanmar.
Yeah.
Or Burma, or I don't know. I have to look.
I guess.
There's you could avoid Vietnam by going over to Yunnan and then going down, and you would have your choice of Laos or Myanmar to go through to get to Thailand.
I guess
That'd be a rough trip.
Optimal. Yeah. Oh. Well, I'm gonna close off, and I'll see you guys Thursday, right?
Yeah.
And I have to send a note out, but I am not going to be there. We're going to take a little road trip and get out of town.
Oh, where are you going?
Up to Idaho in a little town called Driggs, because our daughter's working up there right now, and she's only there for a few more weeks. And
Den?
huh?
You let him out of the den?
He's out of the den. You guys don't know, but Robert got COVID.
No.
He did. And luckily it was a really mild case, but he's been locked in the den for 12 days. I shove a little tray at this door and knock on it. It's been bad. Thankfully, the den has a TV, a bed, and a bathroom, so he was good to go. But
Wow.
yeah,
How did he get it?
we still don't know. We were with some hiking friends and camping friends. Nobody else got it. We have grounds people around here. Nobody else has it. So we just don't know where he got it. It's kind of a mystery, but it was a big wake up call.
Yeah.
Because it's out there and we just need to be careful. And I know all of us are probably feeling COVID fatigue right now, like, oh, we're over it. But it's coming back.
I'm glad he's okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
So it makes me be on lockdown too, because I still am susceptible. So we decided we're just going to get out of town and take a car trip. We're going to be in an Airbnb. And Maddie, who's the nurse, I've been COVID free for so long and I'm still negative. She's like, just come, it's fine. So she's not worried about it. So it's just our small group of 3. Yeah.
Wait, you had it too?
Hmm?
You had it before too?
I didn't. I never got it from him and I'm still negative. But technically I have like 4 more days where I could still contract it because I was exposed to him 2 weeks ago or something. So I'm supposed to go no place.
Yeah.
But I can't stand it any longer.
We'll have a good road trip.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Is Robert going with you?
Yeah. He and I are going up and we'll be with Maddie when she's up there. And we'll be good. She's the nurse, so she'll boss us around.
I'm sure he can't wait to get out.
He's dying. He's like, this is just ridiculous.
Stacy, is your daughter home?
Yeah.
Oh, I saw her walking by.
Yeah.
What do they do now?
Who?
You kids?
Well, my son is a nurse, ICU nurse,
Okay.
and then Kaylee works for a company called WeWork, and they do office space for companies and corporations. They come in and rent office space, and then in a couple weeks she'll work for a company called Nutraceuticals.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Good.
Wow. Well, I'll see you guys Thursday.
Okay.
All
I'll
right.
send an email out. Thanks.
Wait, we're supposed to have chapter 2 done by Thursday, is that right?
I have part of chapter 2 done.
I know, I saw yours, so I did part of mine and didn't finish either.
It's hard.
We were supposed to have chapter 2 done 2 weeks ago.
That was chapter 1.
No, or chapter
Preparing? All right. Well, we're slow.
Too many impressions. That's what's hard.
It's too hard. All right, guys.
All
See you
right.
later.
Barb.